Here's what the ShiftCode project looks like when you run it. I'll run it on the side here. Let's do the I like pizza sentence, and I'll shift it by a distance of 3, and you can see that it prints out the original sentence, the shift distance, which is 3, and the result underneath it. So of course the letter I got shifted over 3 positions in the alphabet, and over here I have where I is right here, and if you can see if you shift it over 3, 1, 2, 3, it ends up at L and so forth. Notice the blank spaces end up still as blank spaces. Blank spaces do not get shifted. And letters at the end of the alphabet, of course, like Z, they have to get shifted back around to the front. So like Z is letter number 26. It has to get shifted 3, so that's A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. Shift of 3. So Z's became C's and so forth. Now if I run it again, so you can just see, I'll do like, I'll do A, B, C, and I'll shift it as 1, just so you can see, obviously, A becomes B, B becomes C, and C becomes D. So you get the idea. And just to keep it simple, we can assume that the user is only going to enter shift distances between 1 and 26. And obviously, if 26 would be kind of silly, if I shift it by 26, I end up with what I started with, because there are 26 letters in the alphabet, of course. So over on the left here, I show you an example of some code that you might want to use to get started. Here are some variables that you might want to use. I have a variable called shifted, which I would suggest should be the resulting message, and you're going to shift 1 letter at a time and then add it to this string called shifted. I have another variable called letter, which I would use to get 1 letter at a time of the original message. And then I have another variable called position, which is the position of the letter in the alphabet. Then I have I declared another variable called alphabet, which is in fact the alphabet. So this variable called alphabet is all the uppercase letters A through Z. And then here's just a couple of prompts to input information that this is the user's going to input this. And here you're going to complete the code. So what I would suggest you do, and again, you don't have to use all my variables, it's kind of up to you, but what I would suggest you do is use a for loop to go through the user's message 1 letter at a time, 1 character at a time. So let's say they enter I like pizza. You're going to, and you know how to get 1 character at a time, use substring. First I'll get I, then I'll get the space, then I'll get L, and so forth. And I would find the position of each character in this string called alphabet. Now how do you find the position of a string, of a character, or part of a string in another string? Use index of for that. So for example, I would find the position of I. Here's the position of I, whatever number that is, I don't know. Then add to that position the shift amount, then get the letter at that new position. And I know you know how to get a letter at a certain position. You're going to use substring for that. So this is a little bit tricky. You're going to have a for loop. Inside of that for loop, you're going to find the position of each letter in alphabet, in this variable called alphabet. You're going to find that position, you're going to add to it that shift amount, then you're going to get the letter at that new position and add that to this the output thing called shifted. At the end, you're going to print out the new sentence. The resulting sentence is in this variable here called shifted. So this is a little bit tricky, but I don't want to write the code for you. This is something that you really should be able to figure out. And then there's a couple of little tricky things. Well, what if the letter goes past the end of the alphabet? What if it's past 26? You have to figure out how to make it kind of wrap around and go back to the beginning. But again, just to keep it simple, we can assume that the user is going to enter shift amounts between 1 and 26. So hopefully this will be enough to get you started. But I want you to try to work out the details on your own. I don't want to write your code for you. So good luck on it. Get to work.